Welcome back. So the two questions were this: how does the world define financial freedom, and how does God define financial freedom? I think you'll see they're very, very different. And this relates to the fourth financial deception. The world believes that financial freedom is attained by having lots of money. I can tell you this from experience, 37 years in public accounting, dealing with some very high net worth individuals. Many wealthy people have no peace in the area of finances. They are not financially free. Often they're stressed out by money-related problems, such as where should I invest my money? What if I lose my money? They actually are not experiencing the peace of God that transcends all understanding, Philippians 4:6. True financial freedom, this is the biblical perspective, comes only from having God's peace in the area of finances. I find it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can have a little or you can have an awful lot of money. All because people have a lot of money doesn't mean they have peace in that area, in the area of finances. True financial freedom only comes from having God's peace in the area of finances. In John 14:27, Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." That's the key, and the key there is to focus on God and His Word. Here's 5 suggestions to obtain God's peace and joy with respect to finances, which most people do not have. And here's 5 suggestions. Number 1, first of all, believe that God and His truth in His Word will set you free from the deceptions of this world. In John 8:32, Jesus said, to the Jews who had believed Him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Number 2, learn to be content with God's provision. As we know that those well-known scriptures that we talked about in the last session, Philippians 4:11-13 is key, where Paul said, "For I've learned to be content." We need to learn to be content. It's not automatic. "For I've learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or want. I can do everything through Him, which is Christ, who gives me strength." So Paul learned contentment by focusing on his relationship with Christ and on things of eternal value. Number 3, acknowledge that the accumulation of money and material things is temporary, not of any eternal value. That's why Jesus told us to build up treasures in heaven rather than treasures on earth, Matthew 6:19-21. Number 4, experience the joy of giving. Jesus said it's more blessed to give than to receive, Acts 20:35. And number 5, recognize that you're a steward, not an owner, of the money and material things that God has entrusted to you. Your responsibility is to apply God's financial principles and to manage the money God's entrusted to you God's way. And God's promise is that if we put Him first, He will meet our needs. So in summary, the financial deception, the fourth one here, is that financial freedom is attained by having lots of money. And that's not true. True financial freedom only comes from having God's peace, God's joy, and contentment in the area of finances. And that's where true financial freedom comes from. The video will stop. Think about that one, pray over it, and then click on the next video for the next financial deception.